Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of a new feature we're calling The Atlas Life. We thought it'd be kind of fun to talk with our nurses out on the road once a week and see what they're doing, see how they're doing, what's fun, what's not fun, those types of things. And Jake had volunteered two of his, a CVICU duo in Virginia to be our very first victims for this. So you want to introduce them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be talking with Brittany and Nicole Ryan today. I met Brittany and Nicole probably in late August, and they were kind of the two that got away. Wasn't able to find them a job. They were kind of like quickly trying to find a job. But it was sort of like I got to find a way into their hearts. And so I spent the next couple of months like watching them a little bit on social media, not in a creepy way, and discovered a way into their hearts.
We talk about it.
It turns out it's craft beer. And I know a little bit about that and
yes,
enjoy it myself. So once I made that connection, the rest has been kind of history, and it's been a lot of fun to work with Brittany and Nicole.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And what you're about to see is for the next 20 minutes is just a lot of fun. They love life, and they like Jake a lot too. So so Brittany and Nicole, welcome to the Atlas Life. So welcome, Brittany and Nicole, to the very first episode of The Atlas Life. I'm super excited to have you both on. You're both travelers with Mr. Jake Brower, is that correct?
Correct.
How'd you get to Jake?
Well, I found Jake. We had been through a couple companies and a couple different jobs and weren't really too satisfied with any of the companies. And I actually posted on Facebook and someone referred him.
Awesome.
So I reached out and he responded right away, texted me, and actually called me the next day. We had a long conversation. And I felt like we really vibed. He really understood what I needed, what I was looking for, and we were just on the same page, and the rest is history.
Fantastic. And so then you're starting a contract in Virginia, is that right?
Yep, we're in Virginia, yeah.
You're in Virginia right now?
Yeah.
So we're totally off the subject, and but the place you're staying looks super nice. Like, how did you find that place? Housing is a big deal, obviously.
Nicole.
So Brittany finds the recruiters, I find the housing. We work really well as a team. I always try to find short-term lease options, and I always go with like big corporations because we really like the gym and we like having a pool. So it's like the best of both worlds. And this place was brand new and they were doing short-term leasing. So we always do 3 months. And then if we extend at that same place, we just talk to the leasing office and we just make really good friends with them and we extend.
And they let us bring our.
And we have dogs.
Oh, and you have dogs. What kind of dogs do you have?
Black lab, he's 98 pounds.
Oh, geez. And what was yours? I'm sorry?
Golden Retriever.
Golden Retriever. So big dogs then, right? Both of them big dogs. Does that get in the way? I mean, does that hinder you sometimes?
So here's the catch. They're therapy dogs. We registered them as therapy dogs. So
awesome.
A lot of times, I mean, I think word's getting out what a therapy dog is. It's not a service dog, but some people don't know the difference.
Yeah.
So they stay with us, and a lot of places we find that they're dog friendly. Even restaurants, breweries for sure.
Yep.
A lot of places we go, I think more and more dog-friendly places. So they really kind of go everywhere with us.
Everywhere.
Awesome. That's really cool. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about breweries and stuff here, but I want to go back to the kind of the very beginning for both of you. Like, when did you start traveling? Why did you start traveling?
We started traveling over a year ago, like a year and a half almost. We both worked together in Maine at Maine Medical Center and their CTICU. And we started there at the same time, so we kind of became buds. We were like the newbies at the same time. And I think we both had just kind of hit our
climax, really.
Yeah, we've hit our peak there. And we're like, we need something new. Mm-hmm. We need to spread our wings because, it was great. We loved our coworkers, our friends. We loved the job, but we'd kind of maxed out.
And at that time, it was, we weren't really ready to settle down. And we had hit all our everything that we needed to hit at CTICU. We couldn't really go any further. We were charge nurses. We were device trained. We had done everything we could do. There was nothing else. So at that point we were like, we're really young and we like to go on vacation. So why not travel? And that's how it started.
Yeah.
Awesome. So where then was your first contract right out of the gate?
Houston, Texas.
Yep.
Good start.
Loved it. Cross country. Took us 4 days to get there. Go big or go home. It was great.
Yep.
Awesome. And then obviously before you met Jake, you had other recruiters, you worked for other companies. What was it like just trying to find those? Because that's a big question that a lot of new travelers have is, I can find that first one, but man, that second one or third one, finding that scares me. How was it for you?
Well, we had a compact license, so that kind of narrowed us down.
Sure.
And getting a California license took 6 months. So we knew like we could go to certain states. A lot of licenses only take like 4 to 6 weeks. So that was an option. But by the time we were looking for jobs, we needed it to happen within the next 3-4 weeks. So that wasn't always feasible. So yeah, finding the second job and the third job is really hard because a lot of pay packages and destinations aren't exactly where you want to be.
Right.
I think that the easiest way that I found recruiters is just talking to other travelers, like by far. So the first one I found, I met at NTI. I met him at that conference, and we stayed in touch. And then after that, it was fellow coworkers that we worked with. So in Texas, there was like probably 10 or 12 travelers, and you became friends with them all. And they'd say, hey, my recruiter's great, or, my company's not so great. So you'd kind of network with them. And you'd find good recruiters, and then you'd refer each other to good companies.
Word of mouth is huge.
Word of mouth is a big deal. And then, that it spills over into how you met Jake, right? Through social media. Yep,
exactly.
That's always been, it's the way things are going now. There's a blog piece that I read a couple weeks ago. And then just this week, I wrote a piece about the way it was 10, 15 years ago, where a traveler, a nurse that wanted to travel would just go put their name on a random site, right? And then hope a recruiter calls them back. And it's the exact opposite now, right? It has changed. Yeah. It's the exact opposite.
We find you guys.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, it's better this way, right? It's the good stuff. The good companies rise to the top. There are a lot of good companies out there that treat their nurses great. And word of mouth is the best way.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. It's the same for facilities too. If the facilities treat their travelers well, you pass that on, because we're at a facility right now the 2 travelers we worked with in Texas came from.
Oh.
So we knew, hey, we're going to like it there. We have friends that worked there. So.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So then we kind of talked about the best parts of traveling or whatever. What's the worst part? Like, what are the hardest parts of traveling?
I think Nicole and I will agree that you come with a certain skill set, and each assignment you have to start over. You're bottom of the totem pole. You have to kind of
gain people's trust.
Yeah, that you know what you're doing. I hope you know what you're doing, but you have to prove that each assignment, and that's hard.
There's some travelers that are out there that go for their 13 weeks and they go and they, work their 12 hours and that's it, and they don't put their heart and soul into it. And then there's like Brittany and I, who we really like nursing and we're passionate about it, and we come with a great skill set. So we want people to trust us and give us, those high acuity patients that we're capable of caring for. So I think it's hard because the traveling industry can give a lot of different angles and impressions, I think, but so it's hard. You do have to start over. And then when you finally get to a certain point, which I think we did in Texas, that's why we renewed there, because we had already gained our trust. We were getting ECMO patients. We knew the staff and the staff knew us. So it was a different culture for sure.
And I just want to be clear. You're both CVICU nurses. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I get you kind of led into that next question is, if you are the one to step up and to take the harder cases or, whatever, do you find that the nurses that do that extend more often? Is it kind of a case by case kind of hospital thing?
I think if you're giving the opportunity by a charge nurse to take a patient like that, that shows a lot of trust within the program that they trust you, and you're going to get better job satisfaction because you're actually critically thinking, like, we've been nurses for 7 years, and I do want to use my brain sometimes. It's actually nice. That's why I became a nurse. So when you're getting patients like that, it does make your life in the long run better. So that's why we extended in Texas, because we were getting those types of patients. We knew what kind of patients we'd be getting going forward. So it was great. I think other contracts we've done, we never got that, and we didn't extend because the assignments we were getting were so, they just weren't even practical. It's crazy.
I mean, every patient needs a nurse. We all know that, but there's always a best assignment and a worst assignment. And so once you gain their trust and they start to let you kind of get a little bit sicker patient, then you just feel more welcome. Because if you don't, and you're constantly kind of getting the short straw, then that's when travelers leave. They're like, well, I don't feel like part of the team. I don't feel welcome. There's no trust here. I'm being babysat.
And I will say, I've talked to travelers, and some of them don't want that. So there's different areas. Like there's some nurses that are like, yeah, I work in CVICU, but I don't want those patients. Like, I don't want that responsibility. And they just may not have the experience that we have. I think every traveler is different in their range of experience. So there's, we go in with a goal of being like, we want you to trust us. We're here to help you. We're here to fill the slots. We can help teach and do all those things. And there's other travelers that just don't want to because they don't have that background.
Also, I would suggest that if you're a traveler with a decent amount of experience and you want that, we found out that if you ask in the interview process, if there's opportunity for you to take, these certain machines, or if you need a class, can we take the class before starting our contract? That way they know that you're invested and that you're capable and that you want that type of assignment. So that also helps. Some facilities will let you do that.
That leads to my next question is, and you kind of answered it right there, is how there's a fine line between, being assertive and knowing that you have skills and you're very good at what you do, and then going into a new environment and seeming pushy or whatever. There's how do you go about that? And I think the interview process, like you answered there, is a fantastic way to start.
Yeah, because otherwise you just kind of come off as, maybe like know-it-all if you're kind of pushing for this and they don't know who you are, they don't know your skills. So if you clarify that in the beginning and say, hey, I'll take the class, sign me up, I'm ready,
I'm willing.
Yeah, they like that.
I think the one in Texas, that was a heart failure, heart transplant device unit. So we didn't have an option. So if you did not know how to run balloons, ECMO, any of those types of devices, CRT, you couldn't work on that floor. So we actually had a clinical interview where they asked us test-like questions. And if you didn't pass, you didn't get the job there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was really surprising. We've never had interviews like that.
Yeah.
In all of our interviews, it was our first one, and it was so nerve-wracking. I had mine first, and I told Nicole, this is the answers I gave.
It's scary because if you don't know those questions, they don't think that you're capable to work on that floor. You have to have a lot of experience. So that was a different type of unit and expectations of a traveler to be there. So much different.
That's interesting because, you'll find that we found sometimes interviews are, when can you start, and are you breathing, and when can you start, right? Sadly, that's just kind of the way it is sometimes. Or you find interviews like this, which is really refreshing to hear that they're going that in depth and they're taking those extra steps and asking those questions.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the fun stuff on the road, all right? Because it doesn't have to always be about work. I love what I do. I love the work part of it. I love this kind of stuff, but I love getting out there and doing stuff too, right? I'm supremely jealous of the kind of things that you guys get to do when you're out there on the road, right?
Yeah.
You're both craft beer people, right?
Yes.
So talk about that. Like, how does that fit into like your days off and that type of thing?
So I usually try to find housing that is located not too many miles away from the breweries. So in Texas, they were all over the place, so it didn't matter.
Sure.
And here in Virginia, they're only 4 miles away. Florida, they weren't too bad. But we really like craft breweries. We go there all the time. We test them all out. We've hit all of them.
Again, supremely jealous of that. That is awesome.
It was like we had got here, we hadn't even started work yet, and we kept posting pictures, and we were hearing things from Jake, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? You've been to all of them. It's been 2 days."
Flights on flights on flights.
So tell me about the No More IPAs or No More Skills Checklist IPA that Jake brewed.
That was so good. We told you what we wanted.
He shared some of that with us. It was great.
Well, the whole story behind that whole naming the growler was he loves craft beer, and he sent us some beer, and we're always sending him pictures of our tastings or for whatever state we're in at that time. And then there was me who never did a skills checklist. Brittany had signed up with him, and obviously we're a package deal.
It took like
I can't go without her. She can't go without me.
To get it done.
So yeah, it took a long time, and I think it was Halloween night where I finally did it. But still, it took a long, long time. And we knew we were going with him. He was my recruiter like 3 months ago, and he wasn't even really my real recruiter.
Right.
But we were talking, and so he made a joke, something about, he sent us the beer, and he's like, not another skills checklist IPA.
We're like, perfect.
We're like, that sounds good.
Those things are so long.
I know. Especially CVICU, CVOR, like those skills checklist pages.
So long.
Pages. I feel your pain.
On your laptop and just submit that like a resume.
We've had the idea, and I'm concerned it might get abused somehow, but like doing a reverse checklist. And I hate to give this away because then somebody will copy it. Hopefully somebody watches this maybe somewhere down the road, and then maybe a company copies it. But instead of starting with blank, it starts with, I don't even know, like all the best score, and then you go and you rate from the best down. Instead of going from 0, you go from the best, and I don't know if that would save time. I don't know.
I don't know. They do take a while, so that's why I never did it.
Maybe. Well, there you go. And so then then Jake brewed a delicious beer called No More Skills Checklist IPA.
Yeah, it was.
Did he
really
show you
good.
the growler?
He did. I saw it right before I came in here. He showed it to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we delivered it to his work. I think it was the day after his birthday. We know his birthday. It was Monday. Not this Monday, but a couple Mondays ago.
A couple Mondays ago. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the best, what goes with, what was that?
He said, happy 29, Jake.
That's right. I don't even know how old he is. Do you know how old he is, really? I don't even know.
He's not 29.
We can go with 29. That's fine. He looks good for 29, though. I mean, that's not bad.
That's great.
Yeah. Have you looked at his Facebook page? Like, the dude does everything. I don't know how he has time.
I was like, this guy's a machine.
He is
Yeah.
a machine.
He's gonna
Yeah. And he gets.
He loves his kids. He loves his wife. We love that.
Yep.
His wife's really pretty.
He is a super family man. I feel like this is the Jake show now. I don't know. I should have him come back here.
in the corner.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah. But his Facebook page is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like he's superhuman.
Yes.
And he brews a great beer too. So.
Yes.
So along with that, you've got to eat some food. And one of my favorite things to do on the road is find good places to eat. What's the best thing that you've eaten while you're out on the road?
I think everything in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yep.
Everything I had there.
So I'm actually getting married there. And we went there and went on like a foodie tour. I mean, every city we go on this food brewery tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what we like to do and we document it. And the food there was phenomenal. And we're from Maine, and there's a lot of seafood there and everything, but Charleston's where it's at. Lots of food, a lot of Southern comfort, a lot of seafood. It was good.
So better seafood there than in Maine?
No.
Okay. Because I don't know.
To win someone
It's
that
different.
lives in Maine.
They do that crawfish, Cajun seasoning stuff, which, I mean, we were, like, we didn't know anything about that really.
Oh, and the
then we went
barbecue.
there.
Barbecue.
I really like
So
Killian's and, they're called Killian's? In Texas.
Killian's in Pearland, Texas.
So good.
So I'm a Midwest guy. I've lived in the Midwest my whole life. Like Kansas City and St. Louis style barbecues are the best. Like I don't know if it gets any better than those two. So, but I'll try anything though. I want to go and let's eat it.
I actually like crawfish too. Crawfish is really good in Texas.
Yep. The weird little claws kind of weirds me out a little bit. I love Maine lobster. I was in Boston for the first time this year, and everywhere we went, I had a lobster roll. Like, it was great. But little crawfish, the little tiny things kind of weird me out.
Oh, they're so good.
Is it-
5 pounds a piece.
We're like, oh, it's Saturday. Let's go get 5 pounds of crawfish.
Oh, man. Gosh. So, Nicole, you're getting married, and that's coming up, correct?
Yes.
And Brittany, you're the maid of honor, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm right, Jake is actually doing the ceremony.
He is.
That once again, we're back to the Jake show. That's pretty amazing. Your recruiter is going to marry you.
Yeah, so I was wedding planning, and Jake is very personable. So what else to talk about when I'm wedding planning is like talk to him. And I found out he used to be a preacher, and he's really good with like communication and talking. And I just felt like it fit because traveling, I got engaged in Austin. We're getting married in Charleston. My maid of honor is my travel partner. And then I need an officiant. So Jake had said, I'll do it. And I said, you're hired.
Awesome. So now I joked with Jake about this. It's coming up, right? I mean, it's coming up in the next couple months. It's in May.
Yeah.
So Jake and I have joked about this. I'm kind of serious about it. Like, I'd like to come with him and do some of this like Facebook Live, right? We could do some Facebook Live stuff through Atlas, and I think that'd be kind of fun.
I think it's great. It's a great idea.
There we go. I think I'll work it out with Jake. So Jake and I will bunk up. We'll share a hotel somewhere.
All right.
That'll be fun. So the last question, and I think this is one to think about a little bit. Our marketing director actually came up with this one, and I've sat on this question for a while now. Just I knew there'd be something coming where I could ask this, and it would be meaningful. Is there a lesson that has taken you a while to learn through all of this? Like, what took you the longest to learn through your whole traveling career so far?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is there's 1,000,001 ways to do one thing. And I know that's like a hard thing to grasp because coming from and traveling, every facility thinks that they're the best. They do it the right way. They're the best way. And we thought that as, before we started traveling. So we were like, oh, okay, well, there's a lot of ways to do one thing. And I think that's like a big concept even in life. Like, there's so many different ways to do 1,000,001 things. It's a really lesson I had to learn because I think I was very organized and very set in my ways before, and traveling has made me grow significantly.
I think everyone should get a credit card with miles and a good set of luggage because you're a traveler now.
Yeah.
Both of those are excellent answers. You are both absolutely right. I think, there's the life lesson, and then there's the real life lesson, right? The practical lesson. That's a little bit together. So, all right. I want to thank you both very much. This has been a really good time. I wish you both the best of luck on your new contract coming up here on the 14th when you start.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you ever have any questions, I mean, you've got one of the best recruiters we've got here, so I know he's there for you.
We think so.
We picked a good company. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I'll see you both in May, I hope.
In May 26th. Save the date.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.